particularly, if we may now, how do you detect fake news? 0345 6060 973. How would you do it? Genuine question. Whether you're talking to a 10-year-old or whether you're talking to your mum who swallowed the Daily Mail and GBB's wholesale. The stuff that isn't true, the fear that is being instilled in people. Elon Musk saying the other day that the shires of England, I think he may have been reading a little bit too much Tolkien, and I'm normally not of the view that you can read too much Tolkien, but the shires of England, small villages containing 500 people, 1,000 foreigners turn up and, in Elon Musk's words, start raping people. How if you're following that, or the people, sensible people, who think that London's not safe. A pal of mine sent me an Instagram the other day and I'm not on Instagram, so he had to WhatsApp it to me. Oh, rather, I'm on there, but I never look at it. Of a young man who I should actually credit him because it's quite a clever little. He went out deliberately trying to get his phone stolen, so he had a brand new £1,700 iPhone. And listen, there is phone crime in London. Don't get me wrong. But very, very dishonest and dangerous people are trying to portray my home as a uniquely dangerous or an especially dangerous place. And it isn't, because I live here. I live in Brentford in the London borough of Hounslow. The people online depicting London as being some sort of hellhole do not. In fact, the ones that are apparently denigrating London from the United Arab Emirates, as according to Nick Ferrari's show did the other day on Monday morning, just before I came on, that's why I mentioned it, I was sitting here while the conversation finished, he is living under Sharia law. And, of course, the people who claim that London is unbearable also claim that our mayor wants London to be under Sharia law. Those are blatant and obvious lies, which sadly are not confined anymore to the outer limits of social media. They are seeping constantly into the mainstream. It's why Mark mentioned the possibility of Zohran Mamdani being accused of wanting to bring in Sharia law because he is a Muslim. And listen, Sharia courts exist, Beth Din courts exist. Some Catholics go to the priest when they're having marital troubles and ask him to sort of officiate, as it were, or mediate, as it were. But the reason why they use it to scaremonger is because they lie about you having to be subject to a Sharia court, whether you want to or not. So they are lies. And if you live here, they are very offensive lies. And if you're truly patriotic, they are deeply anti-patriotic or unpatriotic lies, because people are lying about our country in the hope of making it less attractive or less accurate. I don't know what you'd call those people. I would call them traitors. So people lie about the crime rate in London. People lie even about the knife crime statistics in this country. People lie about the Mayor of London's ambitions. People lie about the safety that you feel as you walk the streets. People lie about anything up to and including rape. These people lie about our country. And they claim that they are speaking to the patriots, the patriots. It couldn't be less true, could it? It couldn't be less true. How do you teach people to see through that disgusting dishonesty? Disgusting and deliberate dishonesty. If you've got answers to that question, I want to hear them on 0345 6060 973. And don't hold back because you think it's obvious. We need as much as we can in our arsenal, don't we? How do you deal with this? Because you can't do it on Twitter. I can tell you, actually, I meant to mention this to you the other day. It's not just that Twitter has become a sewer of far-right and racist content that nobody decent should really be on there anymore, I'm afraid. I know that's a bit sweeping, but the government certainly shouldn't be using it anymore, not after some of the stuff Elon Musk has lied about regarding our country. But it's also, and I don't know whether this is a coincidence, for someone like me, of the quotes, left-end quotes, with, at the time I left, at 1.2 or 3 million, it actually became unusable. So it may be a complete coincidence, because I don't want to sound like I'm wearing a tinfoil hat, but it became unusable. I went back on there the other day because someone asked why I hadn't replied to their DM, so I thought, crikey, I better go and see if people are still direct messaging me on there. And I had a look at my inbox, and it contained loads of stuff from people I didn't follow, loads of stuff I had absolutely no interest in seeing, loads of stuff that was out of date. It was just as if my own personal feed had been completely corrupted. I'm sure it's a complete coincidence, but you wonder why that territory has been conceded entirely to fascists, Nazi sympathisers, racists and liars. And there's probably more than one answer to that question, I would cautiously suggest. But the question that there is also more than one answer to is the question of how do you fight it? If you look across the political landscape, which prominent politicians or indeed which political parties would be in favour of having a better informed, harder thinking electorate? Hard thinking, not hard of thinking. In fact, that's the perfect contrast, isn't it? Do you think that Nigel Farage would be leading in the opinion polls if this was a population that was capable of critical thinking and analysing evidence? Or a population that routinely asked people to define the words that they use, words like woke or Judeo-Christian values. I mean, I'm weird, so I was having a little look at Leviticus the other day, just on this Judeo-Christian values thing and trying to remind myself what the Old Testament, never mind the New Testament, had to say about how we should treat foreigners. And anyone who is using the phrase Judeo-Christian values to justify their opposition to immigration is a heretic or a blasphemer, or whatever word you prefer in this weirdly medieval context. Anybody using that phrase. And the reason why they say Judeo-Christian is to exclude Islam. It doesn't mean anything, Judeo-Christian values, except that they are two Abrahamic religions. What's the other Abrahamic religion? I mean, think about Judeo-Christian values in the context of whether or not Jesus was the Messiah, and come back to me with 2,000 words on why they're identical. You know, in your own time, Nigel. So you hear people using a phrase like that, and they're engaging in, not even subtle, demonisation and division, with Muslims once again being on the receiving end. Which brings us back to that headline that I'm still looking for. Samir Zatani, the hero of the train events on that train this weekend, and yet the fact that he's a Muslim hasn't been mentioned, as far as I can tell, in a single headline provided by news outlets who you can bet your bottom dollar would have put Muslim front and centre on their radio programmes, their television captions, their newspaper headlines, if he was standing accused today of having done something wrong rather than having done something wonderful and beautiful. So, to go back to Mark in Brighton, why? Why is that, Dad? Why aren't they mentioning that he's a Muslim when he's behaved bravely and heroically? But they are mentioning that that guy over there is a Muslim when he's done something awful. Just tell me why. That's what children need to be taught.